Welcome back to Comics with Drew. This is Drew, and today is Manga Monday. Yes, I decided to start doing a review of a manga every Monday, and yes, I am pronouncing it manga because I was told that that is the proper pronunciation, or as they say in the Big Lebowski, that's the preferred nomenclature. A friendly person on the internet recommended that I take a look at the website for Viz Media. They are the American publishers of manga in North America, and they have a service where you can subscribe to Weekly Shonen Jump and you get new manga every week, and it's simultaneously released with the manga in Japan, and it is translated for English readers, and it looks like a phenomenal deal. It's $1.99 a month for it. There's a 7-day free trial. And not only do you get the current released manga that's available to read, you also have access to their digital vault of over 10,000 chapters of other manga. A lot of it is the most popular stuff like My Hero Academia or One Punch Man or One Piece, etc. This is a really fantastic deal, and I highly recommend that you take a look at it. So today I was perusing the options that were available, and I saw that the first chapter of The Elusive Samurai is available. This is apparently the debut of this manga. This is what I was talking about in my previous videos about how manga gets introduced to audiences. They get a chance to do their first chapter and it gets published in Weekly Shonen Jump, and they see if it's popular or not. So this happens to be an example of this. The Elusive Samurai, Chapter 1, The Slaughter of 1333 by Yusei Matsui. I hope I'm saying that correctly. It's translated by John Wary, lettering by John Hunt. This is the first time that I've gotten in on the ground floor of something that was just released, and I'm very excited about it. So let's go ahead and take a look. This manga follows the adventures of a nobleman from the 14th century and is really about feudal Japan. I'm not entirely sharp on my Japanese history. However, it seems to be, in the era of samurai, way back in the day here. Whereas most stories will focus on a character who's got some kind of superpower, super ability in a lot of different manga series. This one is really about this character's ability to be elusive, hence the elusive samurai. He has the ability to run away. It's not really a superpower, it's just a talent. I've never seen a story where the primary character or the protagonist is really celebrated for his ability to not fight something. So that's definitely a new and inventive kind of take. So I'm pretty impressed with that. The book is 56 pages long, and it gives you the origin story and where it talks about this kid and how he's projected to be the leader of the Hojo house. This is the origin story of Hojo Tokuyuki. I believe that's how you say it. And he is, again, the young nobleman in question. He is the elusive samurai in question. And we lead right off with, valorous death in combat, noble suicide, for warrior honor is battle and death. And these are typical cultural values of ancient Japan. Big on death before dishonor and big on dying in battle. And it's it's something kind of intrinsic in the way that Japanese culture has evolved over the centuries. And so we flip that immediately on its ear with, all right, let's get out of here. So our protagonist here is definitely not down with the swords and the guts and all that stuff. He's like, let's bail. It's time to roll. So the story says, but that boy became a hero by running away and lived to become a legend. The elusive samurai is really about how he somehow manages to turn this ability to run away to a heroic kind of story. And that's kind of interesting. You don't really get a lot of options when you're looking at your heroes for guys that are basically good at just avoiding conflict. But avoiding conflict can lead to lots of beneficial things, and it looks like the writer here has decided that that's a valid idea for a story, and so off we go. One of the things that's a bit confusing to me as a new reader of manga is how little boys are drawn. It's difficult for me to say, okay, this looks like a boy when he pretty much kind of looks like a girl here, and the features are kind of soft, and they got the big eyes and the small mouth, and maybe it's the heavy eyelashes. I'm not sure, but it kind of takes me out of it a bit. The art, I think, could probably be a little bit better by more clearly stating that he's a boy. But what can I say? That's just the design choice here. We have Hojo Tokiyuki, son of some other dude. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. That is definitely a tongue twister. And he's got some Triforces here in his outfit, so that's kind of cool if you're down with The Legend of Zelda. So we get a general understanding that he doesn't really have much responsibility. In fact, he wants to run away from responsibility, and he wants to hide, doesn't want to do his lessons, doesn't want to learn how to fight, doesn't want to do any of this stuff. He's got a good life, and he is just content to live there and let things just pass him by, as long as he doesn't have to get involved in any conflicts or go and do any fighting or any of that gross stuff. He just wants to basically chill out. He's kind of a bit like the pokey little puppy from the Little Golden Book, if you remember. The art here is really great. One of the things that he's notable for is his ability to get away, and the art really makes use of that. We have a lot of speed lines, we have a lot of three-point perspective, and it's very dynamic. Another thing that I really like about the art in this book, it's very difficult when you want to show a character moving from one point to another point in the same frame. But with the usage of the speed lines here, it's actually pretty easy to see where we're going. We're starting up here, and we go down here, and then we jump up here, and then we come back down here, and then we come back over here. And of course, this is a 2-page spread. It's very, very dynamic. It's a lot of fun, and this stuff really reprints well in tankobon volumes. Definitely, I love the art. The art's very fun, and you get a really great sense that this is going to be a fun, wondrous world full of excitement, full of humor, full of good times. And after a fairly long introduction to our world, our protagonist here is up on a tree branch overlooking his domain. And he's like, I like Kamakura, the town that he's from, and I like to see the people smile as they live in peace. And I don't need status or honor, just living in the city is enough for me. And you get the feeling that this is going to be a fun, lighthearted romp. And just when you're kind of lulled into that, you have, boom, scary imagery like this. Just as I've heard, you are elusive. This is a magical priest kind of dude who shows up out of nowhere. He has the ability to tell the future, but it's very vague in how he tells the future. And you get a sense that things might not be going so well for our hero here. So we've got the profile view with the vampire teeth, it looks like. I've not read a whole lot of manga, but I do see this expression a lot in webcomics that are inspired by manga, and I'm not a fan. He's obviously surprised. I'm not sure why it makes your teeth sharpen like you're the Headless Horseman from Sleepy Hollow, but it is what it is. You get this kind of out of nowhere kind of surprise jump thing, and I bring this up because, like I said, you think this is going to be a lighthearted romp, and then boom, you've got somebody stabbing themselves with lots of blood and guts, and you got people being beheaded, and you're like, hold on, this isn't quite what I was looking for. This story goes dark in a hurry, and I'm not going to spoil it, but by the end of the first chapter, Takayuki is definitely at a point where he has to make a decision on what he wants to do with his life, and it's not going to be one where he can just sit around and chill out. He's got a big problem on his hands, and he's going to do what he can to survive. I definitely recommend that you check it out. Again, I'm kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I don't really have a whole lot of frame of reference. I've never read a manga that was set in feudal Japan, if that's even the correct time period that I'm referring to here, or if this is even a different time period. But this is the way that this one starts. Things that I liked about it: the art is good. It's a bit conventional. I am not really a fan of this kind of expression here. I don't really get it. I mean, here is, I guess this is Takayuki here. This is Takayuki here. This is not Takayuki. So I'm not quite sure why we keep coming back to this. This happens a little bit more than you would probably like it to happen, and you would think that they would have different ways of expressing this. But again, this might just be visual shorthand. I am not necessarily a fan of it. So the art, I would probably give this about a 7 or so. It's definitely not as good as I think that it could be, but it gets the point across, and it's definitely professional and competent. The story is a pretty good story, to tell you the truth. It's a great premise. It's a high concept premise. I'm not entirely certain how far they can go with it, but that's not my job. We'll see as the manga progresses week to week, and see if it grows popular, or if maybe it doesn't quite stick with us. So we'll see. It's The Elusive Samurai. It's available on Weekly Shonen Jump right now. If you want to subscribe to the service at viz.com, like I said, it's $1.99 a month. You got a 7-day free trial. If you've not signed up for the free trial before, you can certainly go ahead and do so right now and read The Elusive Samurai for free. And if you like it, stick with it. If not, you can go ahead and cancel it and not get charged. So that is the review for today's Manga Monday. I am again going to review One Punch Man Volume 1 by the end of the week, maybe even tomorrow. And I'm definitely going to review lots of tankobon volumes because I think that that's cool personally. I really dig that better. and I've got a great setup now where I can do it. But I will continue checking into Weekly Shonen Jump for new manga as it's released, and we'll comment on other stories as I get up to speed with them. Again, this is Comics with Drew. My name is Drew. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.